Alright, it's super windy and cold. It's freaking basically winter time. It's time to pick these woolly cape yellow tomatoes because these plants are dead. And I can show you how to wet process seeds. So you do that with fruits, like tomatoes. I'm gonna cut the plants down so I can get rid of them. Try and keep disease out of here in the event that I do grow tomatoes in here again, which I probably will. Come on now. I'm gonna leave the roots in there anyway. Oh God. Oh. Okay. Now I gotta get the fruits off. I wonder if I can just... Not really. Kind of. I'll pick them up off the road because I just don't want to lose them into the garden. Is that all of them? Oh, oh, man, this is not going very well. Yeah, these are still green, so that's not great. Another one. The wind. Okay, so we'll take these, throw them behind the fence. There we go. Man, they got all the way down here. Sure, they were assisted by the wind. And it's a hill, so we can just throw them all in this container. Yeah, they're really green. So hopefully we still get some seeds off them. I don't know if I see any in the garden. Yeah, I do. Okay. Rest of them into here. And now we can go inside where it's not so miserable. Oh no, wait, I want to grab ground cherry remains. Alright, now I got everything. While I'm setting these up, I actually want to point out that this, the calyx of the tomato, is the same structure as this on the ground cherry. This is just taken to the extreme, whereas this is just kind of, there to hold the fruit. It's always interesting. I'm actually going to filter off these big ones because I think they might actually be from an experiment that I was doing, because this was a specific plant along the side of the house that came up from seeds that I had swept up off of my former workspace where I had, been trying to kind of get some different genetics going and potentially hybridize them. So I'm actually going to filter these off because I think the genetics might actually be tending towards these smaller fruits. So I'm going to separate the seeds from those. Of course, that could just be circumstantial, and this has nothing to do with anything genetic-wise. Because you can see there's just a few there, but I really only took a few fruits from that plant. So anything that's above probably this size, I'm going to pull out of here, and those seeds will be processed separately. Alright, so we're going to do the ground cherries first, and I kind of want to wash them up a little bit because, well, the fruits are usually pretty resistant to mold. The seeds and the actual internals are not, and because these seeds are going to be wet and I'm going to have to dry them, I just want to kind of cut down on that problem. And that pretty much just looks like this. Dawn dish soap, a little bit of warm water, and then I'm going to strain them off. Just kind of shake them around. A little bit of mechanical action to just try and get any dirt or anything out of there. Alright, so you're going to notice how the majority of these are floating. The ones that are a little more ripe, not so much. Doesn't really matter, actually. We're going to use the fact that these fruits float to our advantage. But first thing we got to do is we got to explode them. You can see I think you can see anyway that the seeds kind of separate from that fruit pretty easily and just kind of go flying out. Now I actually have to completely burst these fruits just first thing. So every single fruit here needs to be popped. And it's kind of like boba. It's kind of fun. If you have a lot more than this, you can use a masher. That's what I used to do when wet processing these. But yeah, I'll just kind of cut until I got this done. Alright, I think all of them are popped, and you can kind of see how all this fruit and stuff's floating around in here, but there's a lot of stuff on the bottom. So I really just need to mash these up and kind of break the seeds away from the fruit itself, the flesh, the pith. You get the idea. So we're going to do that. And I think I might need to get a bigger container, but we're not going to worry about it just yet, because this is just to kind of break up that fruit from the seeds. And this gets complicated here at some point. It's definitely not the most efficient way to clean these seeds, but you'll get a lot cleaner seeds. I can even see there's seeds already trying to escape. They're stuck up on the sides here. So that's pretty good, I think. Alright, you can very clearly see that there's a lot of fruit that's just kind of separated. Now I'm trying to get the seeds off the sides here, but I really don't have to worry about it too much. So I'm just going to pour off a bunch of this water, just to kind of separate a lot of this. Now there is a bunch of seeds in here too, but they're probably not good seeds. That's why they're floating. So we're not going to worry about it. Alright, that's what it looks like once all that flesh is dumped off. So now we just have skins and seeds. There might still be a little bit of fruit in here, but it's negligible. So I'm going to put it into this larger container now, because it's just a little bit easier to kind of look at this, try and flush all the seeds out of this container. So there we go. Now, I think what we can maybe do here is take the strainer that I already used, got a little gunk in it, which isn't the best, oh well, and kind of scoop around in here like that, and then do this, make sure those seeds get through. Yeah, that's pretty clean skins right there. And we just gotta get rid of these and do this a couple of times, then we should just be left with seeds in the bottom here. I'm just kind of trying to remember how I did this, and I'm pretty sure this is basically what I did when I started getting into seed saving and native plants, which this, again, was one of the first plants that I started working with, not really knowing anything about it. And then I just kind of got sucked into this whole thing about how different plants are related and things like that. It's just really interesting. Now I do remember that a lot of times you did have to kind of pick things out of here once you get to a certain point. So I'll just kind of do that real quick. So we got that done. We'll try and work any of those seeds that are in there out of there. That looks good. I'll go throw this out. Now, you see how all the seeds sink to the bottom? That's exactly what you want. So what you can do now is dump all this water off, or at least most of this water off. So I'll do that. Just to kind of illustrate, I mean, look at that. It's kind of like panning for gold. Just need to pour off a little bit more of this. Now we got seed sludge. Now there's two things you can do. You can put this on a paper towel, but you're gonna have to scoop out all them seeds. Usually what I would do is just kind of set it and forget it. Let all that water evaporate naturally. Then you can come through and just kind of pop the seeds off, because they'll stick to the bottom of the container, which isn't great. So you lose quite a few seeds doing it that way. But that is pretty much the way I'm gonna do it, I think. I'm just gonna put them into a smaller container now, so that I can do the tomatoes. I'm gonna put them in a smaller container. So to get these from here to here, I'm actually gonna have to put a little bit more water in here. I should say that I would recommend a wider container. If you're wondering what the noise is, it's windy. I already said it in this video. It's really windy. But a wider container that you can really get your hands in. Wider and flatter, just to kind of maximize surface area and everything like that. Easier to work with. Alright, pour these into here. And lose a bunch, because of course I did. See, they're really heavy, so you kind of gotta do it like that. Pretty much all of them are out of there. Actually, I think all of them are out of there, so that's good. Now we'll do the same thing in the smaller container so that it can evaporate. There we go. So you want to put these in a very well ventilated area. That way the water evaporates faster than the mold can grow. So that's done. Now we're going to do the tomatoes. I actually want to get a look at what these seeds look like first, because they are quite underripe. Typically that won't matter too much, but it very much might on these. I'd planted them way too late. Not seeing a lot of seeds in here. In fact, I'm seeing no seeds at all for this one. See ovules right there. I guess let's cut a couple others open. Okay, this one's completely purple. Let's see. I don't know why I'm not just using a knife. I mean, just one of these having seeds, that would be great. That's not quite enough seeds. Okay. Well, we'll see if we can get any of these. Yeah, they're super underripe. I'm gonna try anyway, because I'd rather not have to buy seeds again. I mean, they separate pretty easily from the flesh, so maybe this one will have something. So I'm extremely unconfident that these are actually going to be viable. I mean, all that for this, but I think for these I'm gonna throw them in a paper towel. I need to get more water off of them first. Bonk. And I'll spread these out. So same thing for these. Well ventilated area. I'm not going to cover these. And then once these dry out enough, I'll have to kind of break the flesh off of these. This mucilaginous layer. And maybe I'll get some seeds. I have my doubts. And there's a clean one. I mean, maybe. Probably not, but maybe. And now we can do our big ground cherries. Oh, I just lost so many because that it literally exploded. Okay, that's fine. Got enough here that I'm not worried about it. Same exact process. I mean, look how much more fruit's in there. Actually, that's kind of insane. Bring this in here. Yep, so we're doing exactly the same thing we did before, except this one's special. And then we can transition it into this. And there we go. Same thing. Let them dry out. And I don't have all these nice, clean Physalis virginiana seeds. So it's been a couple days. Our ground cherry seeds are dried out pretty nicely. You can see they all stick together and stick to all the sides and stuff. That's our just regular collection, and there's our big ones right here. So it's time to put these into the case. Alright, we got our labels made up. Physalis virginiana big and just Physalis virginiana. That's just how I'm going to label them for now. So the way I do this is I peel the sticker off. Now the stickers are actually color coded. So green is native plants. The orange is, what's the word? Cultivated plants, and red is invasive plants. Break the seeds out here. This is actually the best way that I was seeing. And honestly, man, like I said, they do stick pretty bad. I just wasn't expecting them to stick that bad. So there's all of them off there. And this case actually came with a handy little funnel. So we can just take that, stick this in here, and dump these in. And just kind of pick these last two out of there. So yeah, maybe I'll actually start up on my Physalis project again. See if I can get a new domestic strain of this or cultivar. I'll have to decide at some point. So then I just got to do this other one. Same thing. And can skip ahead so I can show you the tomatoes. Here's our tomatoes. Tomato seeds now. I don't know. I can check them though. Kind of. I'll show you. So, let's just get one of these seeds. I'm really not confident that these are any good. See, this is why I don't like to put them on a paper towel. They're hard to get off of here. That thing's thin. Super, super thin, actually. So is that one. I don't have any confidence in these. I mean, if worst comes to worst, I just buy new ones. Yeah, I don't think these are any good. But you know, I guess proof of concept for you. Plus I got the ground cherries, which was basically perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna say these aren't worth keeping. So these will get thrown out. I mean, it won't be that bad. I think this pack was like $3 or $4 to get the Woolly Kate Yellow from, what's it called? Baker Creek? Baker Creek.